Hi everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are diving into a report from Hilton Worldwide Holdings. It's a bit like finding out if your hotel stay includes those tiny shampoo bottles you love, or if you're stuck with the big pump kind. We're figuring out what's really going on behind the scenes. Before we start, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below where you can chat about all things corporate. This report is about some important changes Hilton made to its rules and how people voted on those changes. Think of it like a school election, but with way more money involved. Did they change how easy it is to change the rules? Did they protect their top people from getting sued? Let's find out. This report, called an 8K, tells us about big things that happened on May 14, 2025. It's like a corporate news flash. The main point of this report? Hilton changed some of its core rules, and we're going to dig into what those changes mean. These changes are to their Certificate of Incorporation, which you can think of as their company rulebook. So, on May 14, 2025, Hilton held its yearly meeting for stockholders, or people who own a piece of the company. At this meeting, the stockholders voted to approve some changes to Hilton's most important documents, including the Certificate of Incorporation. One big change was getting rid of the supermajority requirement. What does that mean? Before, if stockholders wanted to change Hilton's bylaws, they needed a very high percentage to agree, like more than half. Now, it's easier for stockholders to make changes. This means the people who own the company have more power to influence its direction. Another change was to protect certain Hilton officers from being held personally responsible in some legal situations, as long as it's allowed by Delaware law, where Hilton is incorporated. This is like giving them a little extra legal cushion. If you want to know all the details about these changes, you can check out Hilton's official document called a proxy statement, which they filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC. If you're super interested, you can find the exact documents detailing these changes attached to this report as exhibits. These exhibits are like the official blueprints of the rule changes. Besides changing the rules, Hilton also had some votes on other important things at the meeting. This section tells us how the votes went. First up, they voted on who would be on the board of directors, which is like the company's leadership team. The stockholders voted on a list of people including Christopher Nassetta and Jonathan Gray to be directors for the next year. These are the people who helped steer the company. Most of the votes were overwhelmingly for these candidates. For example, Christopher Nassetta got over 21.4 million votes. This tells us that stockholders are pretty happy with the current leadership. Next, they voted to approve Ernst & Young LL as the company's accounting firm for the year. It's like hiring an independent scorekeeper to make sure everything is fair and accurate. Again, the vote was overwhelmingly in favor with over 217 million votes for and only about 6 million against. This means stockholders trust Ernst & Young to keep an eye on Hilton's finances. Then there was a vote on how much the top executives get paid. This is a non-binding vote, meaning the company doesn't have to follow it, but it's a way for stockholders to voice their opinion on executive pay. The vote was in favor of the executive compensation, but with a bit more opposition than the other votes. About 99 million votes were for it, and about 16.8 million were against. This could signal that some stockholders think the executives are getting paid too much. Here's where that rule change comes in. Stockholders voted to get rid of the supermajority requirement to change the company bylaws. The vote passed easily, with over 215 million in favor and only about 375,000 against. This means stockholders will have an easier time changing the rules in the future. Finally, they voted to protect company officers from some legal liabilities. This vote also passed with about 98 million in favor and 17.4 million against. This gives some legal protection to Hilton's top people. The report is signed by Caroline Crass, who's a top lawyer at Hilton. This makes it official Dalton. So what's the big picture here? Hilton is making it easier for stockholders to change the rules and giving its top people some extra legal protection. The stockholders seem generally happy with the company's direction, but there might be some concerns about how much the executives are getting paid. By reducing the supermajority requirement, Hilton is giving more power to its shareholders. This could lead to more significant changes in the future if shareholders decide to push for them. Protecting officers from certain liabilities might help attract and retain top talent, but it could also raise questions about accountability if something goes wrong. Overall, Hilton seems to be in a stable position, with stockholders generally supporting the company's leadership and direction. However, it's always important to keep an eye on those executive compensation votes and see if the level of opposition grows in the future. Alright, that's our breakdown of Hilton's latest filing. What's your take on these changes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps. And subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.